Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new Health Conversation podcast. And for the censors out there that monitor the community guidelines, we always tell you at the new Health Conversation, the only thing we ever quote from are peer-reviewed medical studies. They're in the public domain, meaning our audience gets to see everything. We're not making any claims. All we're doing is reading from the medical studies. Everything we talk about is 100% safe. It's been proven, and it's, like I said, published in the biggest medical journals in the world. We've written 4 best-selling books of some of the top medical doctors in the world. We've done over 20 shows on public broadcasting and over 1,500 live lectures around the world. We pride ourselves on bringing absolute medical facts and medical proof. There's no opinions on our part. We don't do that. We don't make any claims. We always like to let you, the censors, know that we stay well within the community guidelines. Well, hello everybody, and you can see it. Finally, medical science proves a new safe way to lose 20 pounds in a month. It's not a diet, it's not about counting calories, and no one was allowed to exercise. It involves no products. It involves 2 new groups of food and a completely new way of consuming food, as crazy as that may seem. The people who invented this are considered the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. It took them 40 years and 100 studies to come up with this. That is absolutely untouched. She lost 20 pounds in a month, was not allowed to exercise, even proved by wearing Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Now, it's not that the researchers were against exercise. No, it was that they wanted to eliminate exercise as an outlier. Otherwise, you'd say, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. But I'd like to ask any of you, when was the last time you ever lost 20 pounds, let alone in a month? Or if you did, or you're going to lose 20 pounds now on any diet, how long would you give yourself? This is proven. This is about the minimum weight loss, is about 5 pounds a week. I'll show you some other examples quickly, and then we'll go over how in the world did she do this? How would you do it? How would this completely change your life? So first of all, look at Julie, everybody. 35 pounds in 37 days. It is not fake. It's not Photoshop. This is real. Can you imagine losing 5 to 7 pounds a week with no exercise? Look at that. And then this is the daughter of a friend of mine. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months. This is going to change the world. Any diet you're on right now pales in comparison to this. It's not even a fair comparison. And the thing about this, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. You're not going to see anybody else on social media, at least that I can see or I've found, that show you one shred of medical evidence. You're being shown things like this time-restricted eating where you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat for 8. And they say, well, most of the weight is fat. That's a complete lie. You do not burn fat on a diet or an exercise. Sorry to shock you. You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You die with a certain number of fat cells, and those fat cells can expand or contract. You can see how much they contracted on her. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her body. I mean, again, are you all curious about this? Or are you just going by and said, oh, this is a bunch of BS? No, this is science. We are nutritional researchers for 23 years, okay? I'm not trying to impress you, but I am a nutritional researcher. I've written 4 best-selling books, some of the biggest medical doctors in the world, about why diets are failing us. And this new protocol, which was, the study started about 13 years ago. It took them that long to bring it to the public's attention. And now you can see what's going on. Now, you know, you hear when you get older, you can't lose weight. Well, don't tell this gentleman this. He's 65 years old. He lost 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. It's not a diet. This is not a diet. There's no products involved. This involves food. I'm going to explain that to you in just a moment, but I wanted to show you something. Now, the thing I want to notice about him, look at his blood work. Look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124. That's in 30 days. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? I'd love to know what diet you think you've ever seen like this. And the thing that's so great about it, we don't have to make claims because we have the 10 peer-reviewed human medical studies, which actually we show you. There's a free website. You can see it in blue, The New Health Conversation, right above her head. That is a free medical website to go to where all the proof is there. There's nothing to buy. We won't contact you if you go there. And then look right above that. It says free coaching. You will get coached for free. You've never done anything like this before. And how you do this is going to be just as important as what you're going to be eating. There are no products. There's no magic elixir or a capsule or a shot or anything like that. This is natural. It's using nature in a totally different way. And I promise I'm going to explain it to all of you here in just a moment. So first of all, do any of you know the medical definition of a calorie? If you do, put it in the chat. And now why am I bringing that up? Because all diets that I know of are based on some form of you counting calories, calories in, calories out. It's the biggest bunch of nonsense on planet Earth. Your human body has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. It's never counted calories. So there's calories in, calories out. It's a complete myth, okay? Let's start with that. The researchers knew that. Now, how did they know it? Because they'd done 100 studies on human beings over 40 years. Hundreds, thousands of people. They never found a diet in 40 years where people lost weight and were able to keep it off. Worse, 2/3 of you will gain more weight than you lost on any diet you've ever been on. So what did they do? How did they do this, okay? So the researchers, not me, not us, we didn't invent this, we're reporting on it for all of you. These researchers figured that the problem with diets was pretty simple. When you go on a diet, let's forget the calorie counting because the body has no idea what a calorie is. All you're doing on a diet, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, or like when you're doing something like keto, you're eliminating almost all carbohydrates, which is actually really bad because your body actually needs carbohydrates, but the right kind of carbohydrates, right? So the researchers said, we're going to come up with a new protocol that has nothing to do with calorie counting. It only has to do with the fact we know there are foods out there we can give you less food, but we can give you more nutrition. See, you're alive because of water, air, and nutrition, not calories. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. If you're counting calories, you might as well be counting sheep because your body has no idea what a calorie is. So the researchers put together food lists. First, 30% of what she consumed on this, she got a grocery list that she took to her grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But only 30% by quantity or by dollar volume that she bought the month before she started this, she would only spend 30% of that money. And she had a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, but not calories. She had serving sizes, so you all understand. This is completely different than anything that anybody's ever done before, right? Now, here's what really made it work. These researchers who have nothing to sell, they don't have a company, they're scientists, okay? There were other researchers they had found who had gone around the world for 20 years to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition but small amounts of quantity of food. So now they had the foods you would ingest. Then they invented, this is going to sound crazy to all of you, a new way of eating. So 5 days a week she was having 4 meals a day. She started in the morning with these exotic foods around the world, nothing from the grocery store list. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, another meal from the exotic foods around the world. That's called protein pacing. It's so advanced that the US Patent Office gave them a registered trademark for this new way of eating, okay? So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day until she lost her weight. Then 2 days a week again until she lost the weight. She did something that was, what you'll think is crazy, called intermittent nutritional fasting. It was fasting with nutrition. It wasn't fasting, it wasn't water fasting, it wasn't time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world, but this time she was eating every hour and a half. What happened? The diabetics on this, no one had insulin spikes. But let me tell you the big reason behind this. Why is this so different? Because it's a detox. And they measured blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this protocol was helping her body get chemicals that we're all storing inside her fat cells out of her. Look at her stomach on day 1, and then look at her stomach on day 30. Let me get my big head out of the way here. Move the camera so you can see. There's a better picture. Look at her stomach on day 1, look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise allowed. They wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Now, the number one reason to do this is detoxification. Now, in case you don't think you're toxic, you live in an alternate universe. There's a new medical syndrome, registered trademark US Patent Office now, called TDOS. What does it stand for? The T is for toxicity, the D is for the nutritional deficiency of our food, O is for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark US Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, who's that? Oh, that's me, I did discover it. But that doesn't matter. The Patent Office doesn't care about me, it cared about the science that I presented, okay? So the main reason to do this is detox. Now, what else happened? For the first time ever, when they measured inflammation in the body, which they did as part of the tests, it came down 25% in a month. No one's ever seen anything like that. In case you didn't know, inflammation is the underlying cause of every disease out there. Number 3, sustainability. She lost the weight 8 or 9 years ago. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, what's maintenance? I'll tell you how simple it is. This morning I already had the world's most perfect, they call them the world's most perfect meals for breakfast from these exotic foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. I'm going to have lunch in a few hours. I'll have dinner tonight, and then every couple months I'll do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast, not to lose weight anymore, but to continue to detox. If I can do anything for all of you is to get you to understand, whatever diet you're on, there's never been a shred of evidence that it removes any toxins from your body. It does nothing to lower inflammation. This is a health system. That's what it is. And it's really a new, well, it's new combinations of food, but also those foods, because of the high levels of nutrition, you can eat differently. You really can. And I'm living proof, but also, I mean, look at some of these before and afters that are just absolutely crazy. My friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise. That's 5 pounds a week average for 3 months. And Kristen, who we started with, she only had 30 pounds to lose. She lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month. Would someone I'd love for anybody to comment. How long would it take you to lose 20 pounds typically if you knew nothing about this? It's not a diet, everybody. This is a revolution. This is going to change everything we ever thought about diet, exercise, and nutrition. And again, it's backed by, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical studies in the world. Now, everybody says, how can I get more information? Do you see right above our head in blue, everybody, the New Health Conversation? That's a free medical website. If you go there, we won't contact you. We don't need to. We rely on the medical proof. Why would we need to go and try and convince you of anything? But if you like what you see, you can scroll down, you get a free coach. It says right there, free coaching to ensure your success. I'd love for anybody to comment, has anybody ever seen anything like this? And then when you look at a 65-year-old guy, 40 pounds and 52 inches in a month, and that's the least important part of his story. Look at his blood work. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124. Every person, all their blood work improved drastically. Here's another one, Andy, a younger guy, 45 pounds and 60 inches in a month. And look at his A1C from 7.9 to 6.2. But look at his bad cholesterol. Went from 120 to 59. That's 30 days, everybody, 30 days. And then Christopher, he actually, his A1C was pretty good. It was 5.3. It still went down to 4.9. But look at his triglycerides, 169, they dropped to 58. His bad cholesterol, 105 to 68. His blood pressure, 133 over 86, dropped to 126 over 73. This is a health system. The weight loss is like a throw-in. It's almost the last thing. We know that's going to happen. But it's not just, see, that's the thing. This is so much more than the number on the scale, which I know will excite all of you. It excited me. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I remember after the first 4 days, I lost 8 pounds in 4 days, 12 pounds in 9 days, 20 pounds in 18 days, 30 pounds in a month, and 40 pounds in 7 weeks. All along the way, when I realized my scale wasn't broken, I said, this is going to change the world. It could change your world. You're all struggling to lose maybe a half or a pound a week, if that, and then you stall out and you plateau. And you gain all the weight back. We all know that's what's going on. This is going to change that. And all you really, go check out the website. It's free. We won't contact you. Why wouldn't you do that? For your own benefit. But it's the health benefits. She lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise allowed. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. So, again, I'd love for anybody to comment. Make a comment. Do you think we faked it? Do you think that's Photoshopped? Do you think it's not real? If you do, you're on the wrong podcast. We're scientists. We're researchers. Our job is to make you aware. Our job is not to sell you. Our job is not. We didn't do this. We didn't invent this. But we're sharing it with you. And again, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, proving it's safe, it's real. There's no claims. We emphasize that to the censors all the time, that we're not making claims. We're reading from the medical studies. I mean, do any of you think diets work, really? Do any of you think diets actually work in the long run? I'd love for anybody to tell me that. Because the problem is, although you're going to lose weight on any diet initially, did you know that 25 to 40% of the weight you're losing on any diet is your lean muscle mass? And do you understand that your lean muscle mass is not your biceps? It's what's called your fat-free mass. I don't want to get too technical. So if you took all the fat out of your body, what's left is your lean muscle mass. But it's not just your biceps. It's your brain, it's your kidney, it's your liver, it's all your organs, and even your bones. And when you go on a diet, what happens when the body goes in starvation mode, it stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cell, which is what we're supposed to run on, shuts that down, and now it needs fuel. Where does it find it? It starts in your muscles. It's called catabolic metabolism. Everybody's having that situation. Oh, Leckham Jam. Thank you for the heart. Look, I'm so new to TikTok, relatively speaking. All those, I get hearts and all that kind of stuff. Thank you all. Not that I really understand it, but I know it's really good. As long as I don't get a thumbs down, I'm really good. So thank you, Leckham Jam. Jacqueline Rose, no. No, what, Jacqueline Rose, I'm not quite sure what you said no to. No, you didn't hear how they did it, or no? Oh, of course, Leckham Jam. So are you all finding this interesting? And like I said, Jacqueline Rose, what were you saying no to? I'm not quite sure. And it's open. Look, this is live. It's not pre-recorded. But you got to understand, I'm a nutritional researcher. I'm just presenting you the facts. We're not making anything up. And look, if you don't believe me, look at the website, everybody. Just go to Google and type in The New Health Conversation. Look, it's right there. The New Health Conversation. Oh, how to do it. Okay, Jacqueline. I promise I'll explain it in 1 second. Look, there's Jacqueline and everybody else. There. Look at the website. There's nothing to buy on that website. The only thing there is the medical proof, including, number one, an exclusive podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He and his team created this. After 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people, they came up with what I'm going to explain to you right now, to all of you. So stand by, everybody, I promise. How that lady do it. Monjero. Oh, Monjero. No, this has nothing to do. There's no drugs. No, this is no products. This is food. I'm going to explain it all to you right now. So let's come back and look at Kristen, all right? Ahmad Halen said hi. Hello. Okay, so let's talk about what they did. The researchers, not us, we didn't invent it, okay? They, after 100 studies, thousands of people over 40 years, concluded no diet ever worked long term, and 2/3 of everybody, including you, on these diets gained more weight than they lost in the long run. 2/3 end up weighing more than when they started. And I've got tons of research to show you. One of the things I want to show, just give you a quick headline, counting calories. It's done. Harvard Medical School and many other studies that I have right here stop counting calories. Listen to what they said, and then I promise I'm going to explain. This has nothing to do with counting calories. As a matter of fact, the researchers won't let you count calories. It doesn't work like that. You'll find out in a moment. What did they say? This is Harvard Medical School. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut 3,500 calories and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. That's Harvard Medical School telling you diets, counting calories is over, finished. And these researchers, who have nothing to do with Harvard, their main premise was this. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. Why you'd be counting calories is complete insanity. The only thing that keeps you alive is air, water, and not calories, nutrition. So what the researchers found is that every diet at the end of the day was some form of reducing the amount of food you consumed, which meant you consumed less nutrition. So what they did when they started, now remember, there's no products here. There's nothing to buy. There are no shots. And when I show you the difference with this compared to the shots, it's going to blow your mind, okay? Give me a minute or two to explain what they did. So the researchers, their premise was this. We know there are foods out there where we can give you less food by quantity, but give you more nutrition. So for example, part of what you would get a list, you'd actually get a physical list you take to your grocery store. It's free. No, the list is free. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. Now, let's look at that for a moment. So let's say you're going to do steak or hamburger. It needs to be grass-fed and what's called finished, not just grass-fed, all right? The researchers, they were calculating to give you serving sizes, nothing to do with calories. So it's very important you understand, you're not just trying to wing this. It's not like, oh, here's some recipe. That doesn't work. They focused on giving you maximum amount of nutrition, but less food by quantity. Everybody got that? Anybody that doesn't, let me know. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's go back to the basic premise. 30% of the food she bought or consumed in a month, she bought from her grocery store. And she had a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, but serving sizes, not calories. The other 70% of what she bought and consumed didn't come, well, it came from exotic locations around the world in places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that you would buy directly from them, not from us and not from these researchers, right? But those researchers found these foods with huge amounts of nutrition and small quantities of food. Let's keep the basic focus on what were they trying to do. Can we give you less food but give you more nutrition? It sounded like an oxymoron at first, but they proved it, right? So then, based on these new food groups, remember, there's no products here. You're buying food. That's it, okay? 5 days a week, they had her eating 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and that was breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store list that you would have, dinner from the grocery store list you would have, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. See this nonsense stuff like time-restricted eating, where you stop at 8 o'clock at night and you don't eat till noon the next day. By morning, you're starving to death from a nutritional standpoint, and the only thing you're burning on that is your lean muscle mass, and I've got the medical proof to back up what I'm saying. So 5 days a week, imagine you got 4 meals a day. Hello? What? How can this be a diet? Because it's not a diet. You'll find that out in a moment. Then 2 days a week, you would do something called new concept that the researchers invented, intermittent nutritional fasting, meaning fasting with nutrition. Not a fast, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. That's just what they called it, intermittent nutritional fasting. Excuse me. It was fasting in the sense where you had very low levels, no food from the grocery store, by the way, none, zero. Only these exotic foods around the world, but this time she was eating 8 times a day. You heard me. Well, what did they find? First of all, there were tons of diabetics on this. No one had insulin spikes. Now the number, I was going to tell you, the one thing this isn't, it's not a diet. You know what it is? A detox. Now how can I say that? Because it's published in 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. There's no diet you're on that's published in 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, period, end of the story. It's all chatter and nonsense. This they measured through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. This is removing chemicals from your body, from your fat cells. In case you didn't know it, we're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals. As they enter our body, the body takes the chemical to protect us and stuffs it, inside your fat cell, specifically the visceral fat around your organs. That's why, look at her stomach on day 1, everybody. Look at her stomach on day 30 with no exercise. They wore Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. You think there's anything like on the planet? What would it be? So the number one reason to do it is detox. Number 2, for the first time ever, when they measured inflammation, which you all suffer from, including me, it came down 25% in a month. This is no diet's ever produced anything like that. No diet's ever produced a gram of a toxin leaving the body. The third biggest reason to do this is maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. That picture you're looking of her there, she's kept the weight off now for 8 or 9 years, along with the other people. I'm going to show you what they've done. Look, the number on the scale is the least important thing. I know that gets you excited, but this is a health system. It's a health system now. I'm going to show you some of the medical results. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, so the last thing about this is the weight loss, because we know that's happening. That's not even part of it. It's like, I know you're going to be excited. Here's what most people, I'll tell you right now, most people in this, men and women, they'll lose as much weight in 4 days as a month of any diet you've ever been on. What's your first inclination? My scale broke. This is unsafe. It's unhealthy. No, it's not. Because they measured all that. Instead of her losing any water weight or any lean muscle, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. What do you think about that, Leaky Jam, or any of you? And I'll talk about shots in just a moment, but I want to get through this first. The key to this is maintenance. The key to this is detoxification. Now, what is maintenance? I'll tell you how simple it is. You have, like this morning, I already had the world's most perfect meals for breakfast. I'm going to have lunch in a few hours. I'll have dinner tonight, and then once, maybe every couple months, I do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast, not to lose weight anymore. I've already done that, but to continue to help my body get rid of the chemicals that we're storing inside of us. Did you all see the study came out about 7 weeks ago? They're now finding microplastics in your brain and in your coronary arteries. What else are we finding inside the fat cells? We know they're storing herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon and flame retardants. Now, you may not believe that. No diet touches that. None, zero. There's never been a study on a diet showing it's removing chemicals. The other thing, when you look at this whole thing about calorie counting, let me read to you what the experts are now saying. I just told you right a minute ago, Harvard Medical School stopped counting calories. They went on to say, the idea, this is Harvard Medical School, not me, the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only it's not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That is exactly what these researchers did, and they have no affiliation with Harvard. But listen to what the experts are saying in summary. Listen to this. The title of this was The Deadly Delusion of Calorie Counting. Abandon calories in, calories out now. That's what the experts are saying. They said this, calories in, calories out is a dangerous fraud. The body completely ignores calories, which are merely a lab-invented unit of energy with no corresponding biological sensor or mechanism. Instead, the body craves essential air, water, and nutrition to function, where hunger acts as a signal for nutrient deficiencies rather than mere energy shortfalls, rendering calorie tracking not just ineffective, but a harmful distraction that perpetuates obesity cycles and dieting failures. You still want to count calories? You still want to count calories? Can anybody even tell me what a calorie is from the real medical definition? I've done I think 1,500 podcasts in the last year and a half, because I do 4 or 5 a day, 7 days a week. You do the math. I always ask this question, can anybody give me the medical definition of a calorie? I've had 11 people get it right out of 1,500 lectures. I didn't know what a calorie was 24 years ago, so I'm not trying to make you feel bad. But can you explain to me why you'd be counting calories when your body has no idea what a calorie is? Can somebody put in the chat, does that make sense to any of you? Does it? This whole notion, the whole diet industry, the world of diets is some form of thinking that you're reducing calories. No, the only thing you're reducing on a diet is the amount of nutrition available to run your organs. Period. Now let's talk about the shots. And I'm not even against the shots, whether it's Mounjaro or Ozempic or semaglutide, triazepam, there's a bunch of GLP-1s now, right? I'm just going to read. You be the judge. This is the New England Journal of Medicine. You can look it up. It's in the public domain for all my censors, so I'm not making a claim. I'm reading from, this is the New England Journal of Medicine, the #1 medical journal in the world. So all I'm doing is reporting what's in there. Listen to this. After 68 weeks, a year and 4 months, the weight loss was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds, 40% was lean muscle mass. It took them 68 weeks to lose 32 pounds. She lost 21 pounds in a month. And Curtis, the older guy, the 65-year-old guy, how about 40 pounds in a month? Based on the shot, can you do the math? How long it would have taken him? Almost 2 years to lose 40 pounds. He lost that in a month, but that's the least important part of his story. That's what's so great about that. Look at his blood work, his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Ask diabetics how dramatic that is. Or triglycerides, 242 to 124 in a month with no exercise allowed. They actually wear Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. Look at his stomach. You can think it's Photoshop. If you think it's Photoshop, you're on the wrong podcast. Go follow the other influencers who are giving you not one scintilla of evidence. They're giving you opinions. Do you all understand this? Can any of you show me an influencer? See, people are jumping off. It's so insane. What are you following then? What are you following? Are you following any science or are you following opinions? Because that's all they're giving you. Can anybody tell me any influencer that shows you one shred of medical evidence? Who would it be? I haven't seen it. Maybe it is. I can't be everywhere. And thousands and tens of thousands of people are following these people with no medical proof. Whether it's a keto diet or it's this time-restricted eating or it's carnivore or it's count my macros. Look, in 4 years, they now estimate 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese, according to Johns Hopkins Medical School. What are you doing? How could you not want to know how in the world it's possible to change your life? Look at that. We got 2 people left. I mean, this is crazy. We're going to have like almost 300 million people overweight or obese in 4 years. And what are you doing? You're all, not all of you, obviously. Yeah, Leckham Jam. So Leckham Jam, do you understand, all of you, the medical website is right there, the New Health Conversation. I really don't understand High Whisperer of Soothsayer, John Monger, Mary Carducci. And I'm not even sure if you're still on or not on, people. I just find it unbelievable that people won't, this could change their lives. This is real. It's backed. This is the only medical proof in the world. This is it. This other stuff is just nonsense. It's just opinions. Are you really willing to trust your health? It's not just your weight, but your health to opinions? When there's medical proof, irrefutable, bulletproof medical proof, that's what this is. She lost 20 pounds in 30 days, gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. I mean, maybe some more people get interested. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise. This is the daughter of a friend of mine. She's kept it off for 8 years. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. Again, if you think that's Photoshopped, you're on the wrong podcast. Who else is showing you medical proof? Can anybody tell me? Of you people, please tell me anybody you know of who's showing you medical proof about what they're claiming. Because they're claiming, they're making, you can lose 20 pounds in a month and most of it's fat. Well, the first thing is you cannot burn fat on a diet or exercise. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and they expand or contract over your lifetime. That's it. So when they're telling you you're burning fat, run, it's a lie. They may not even be lying. It's worse. If they actually know and they're telling you, that's a lie. But if they don't know, that's even worse. They're supposed to be giving you advice? Why would they be giving you advice that has no medical backing behind it? You're entrusting your health to opinions? You are. That's exactly what you're doing. I mean, I guess you could say that I get angry almost in a way, right? I mean, I turn people off because I have so much passion for all of you. My own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I loved my mom. 25 years ago, she called me up one day and said, Peter, I have one wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything to spend one day thin. I said, well, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom did about every diet there was. Part of great motivation for me being a researcher and continuing to share this with all of you. My mom never had access. None of us did. It wasn't even invented. These researchers who invented it, they're pioneers. They're credited with cracking the code on obesity. So Jacqueline Rose, did that explain it to you? And Black, how did the lady do it? Black KZ. But all of you can go to the website and see the medical proof, and then you get a free coach. You're not buying anything from us. You're buying food from the grocery store and these exotic foods from around the world. You buy directly from your grocery store and them. And then we teach you how, everybody gets coached. We got coached. You don't know how to do this. If you think you do, well, then you'd be doing it. I mean, honestly, if any of you were going to lose 20 pounds, can someone put it in the chat for me? How long would you give yourself? John Moniger or Green Fam or any of you, or Lucky Jam, how long would you give yourself to lose 20 pounds? And then look at this, everybody. This really makes me happy. How about 200 pounds in a year? Where's the loose skin with no surgery? Look at that. See that picture on the left? That's like my mom was. Oh yeah, she'd lose 20 pounds and gain 25 back. She'd lose 25 and gain 30 back. I believe my mom dieted herself to death. I feel an obligation to all of you, not to convince you, not to sell. We don't sell you anything. We have no products. There's no products involved with it. There's no shots, there's no pills. No, it's food, but in a different way of eating, a different cycle. They call them eating patterns now. Completely different, easy to do. You're eating, as a matter of fact, 5 days a week, you're gonna have 4 meals a day. What? Yeah, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you're gonna actually have 8 meals a day. What? Yeah, that's how this works. Because it's not based on calories. It's not based on quantities, amount of food. It's based on the amount of nutrition. These are the top weight loss, nutrition, and physiologists in the world. They invented this. It wasn't me. We had nothing to do with it. But what do you all think about that? 200 pounds in a year and she's kept it off. Pretty cool. And I'm always amazed by this gentleman here, 65 years old, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. I lost 40 pounds, but it took me 7 weeks. But I have kept it off for 23 years. He beat well, I didn't have as much weight to lose as he did. But still, 40 pounds in 7 weeks, you think I was unhappy with that? And I've maintained it for 20. See, the whole key behind this is not to lose the weight. That's like a given. That's like a default for us. Now, I know for all of you, including me from a vanity standpoint of view, I love the fact that I went from a 42-inch waist to a 34-inch waist in 14 days, and I'm still a 34-inch waist 23 years later. How's that sound? I know it sounds too good to be true. So I see people coming on, don't you want to know how they did it? I don't see anybody asking me now, who would like to find out how in the world did they do this? How did Kristen? This is more, everybody, the average on this is about 5 pounds a week. 5 pounds a week until you get the weight off, and then you're able to maintain it. But imagine, 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. Food, no pills, lotions, potions. And 2 days a week, you're going to eat 8 times a day. You ever heard of anything like that? Well, no one had. And they proved, listen, it's published in 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. So Lisa, you're saying you'd like to know how they did it? Just to clarify. I believe that's what you're saying. Excuse me, I'm just clearing my throat here, everybody. And if we can get some more taps on that screen, we're at 545, and I know we can do better than that, okay? So, Lisa, I'm assuming that's what you want. Okay, so everybody, listen, do me a favor for the few people that are still on here. Don't jump off until I finish. It'll take me maybe 3 or 4 minutes to explain what this is, why it worked, how it worked, etc., okay? But at any point, you all see somebody jumped off already. Well, this could change their lives. The next 4 minutes could change your life, or not. Or you can continue to think that calorie counting somehow works. It doesn't work, okay? So Lisa and Suzita and Soulflower and any of the rest of you. The researchers who invented this had done 100 studies over 40 years on pretty much every kind of diet you could imagine. They came to the conclusion, after 40 years and 100 studies, thousands of people, they never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off. And 2/3 of the people they studied ended up weighing more than where they started. They said the fallacy was the only thing that you can do to control your weight has nothing to do with calories, has to do with only one factor, and that's nutrition. The key is, can you reduce the amount of food you consume, but increase the amount of nutrition that you're giving your body. Because see, your body doesn't run on calories, it doesn't know what a calorie. Do any of you actually can give me the medical definition of a calorie? I've had 11 people in a year tell me the real definition of a calorie. I didn't know what calories were 24 years ago, so don't feel bad. So the researchers said what we're going to do, we're going to go find food where we can give you less food, but the foods are very specific for higher levels of nutrition. So they put together a grocery list that you would literally take to your grocery store, okay? Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of calorie amounts, they give you serving sizes. Does that make sense to everybody? No more calorie counting. Forget it. So about 30% of what you would consume in a month would come from your grocery store, from the list these researchers provide for you. And also, of whatever you spent last month, about 30% of those dollars would cover the food you're buying for a whole month from your grocery store. So the other 70% of the money you have left would go to these other researchers, not the ones who created this, and certainly not us. You don't buy anything from us. But those researchers had spent 20 years going to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. Does that make sense? And that's how they did this. They combined regular food you can buy at your grocery store, but only 30%, and the other 70% from these exotic foods. Now, why did they have to do that? Because our food, I don't care where you live in the world now, is becoming more and more nutritionally, I'll be kind, nutritionally insufficient. Look, for years they used organic food in these thousands of people they studied. But the problem was that our food is becoming less and less nutrition in our food. So you can imagine you're eating less food that already has less nutrition. The minute your brain senses there's not enough nutrition to run on your organs, what does it do? It freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and starts to use your muscles for fuel. slowing down your metabolism. That's why you plateau. That's why you gain all the weight back, everybody. So the researchers, they said, we're not going to do that. So they had 30% of the food from the grocery store. You get a grocery list for free. 70% of the food you buy comes from these other regions of the world. Then they invented 2 new ways of eating. 5 days a week until you lose the weight, you'd have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods around the world. That would be your breakfast, no food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner. So imagine 5 days a week, you're having 4 meals a day. You ever been on a diet like that? But remember, it has nothing to do with calories. It has to do with how much nutrition. Well, what about the other 2 days? And this was one of the other keys. The other 2 days of the week, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world, but this time you're going to eat them 8 times a day. Now, what they found in a month, there were a lot of diabetics on here that were monitored by their doctors. No one had insulin spikes. Now, here's the number one reason to do this, and it's not to lose weight. It's to detoxify your body. Now, how can I say that? Because, again, in the studies that are in the 10 biggest medical journals in the world, they measured blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this was removing chemicals from the body. Look at her stomach on day 1, everybody on the left, and then look on the right, day 30, and that was with no exercise allowed. She actually, all the people that I'm going to show you, they all wore Fitbits. I understand this is science fiction. I understand you're probably skeptical. I understand you probably think it's photoshopped, and if you do, you're on the wrong podcast. We're scientists. All we're doing is presenting to you the facts. Because you can go on, well, if you go to that, see the website, we didn't know this is a website, but visit the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. You can go and see the medical studies. There's an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He's rated the #1 person in the world. He and his team invented this, not us. And they don't sell anything. They don't have any, there's no products here. This is food. Does it sound too good to be true? Please comment. I'm okay. As long as we have a civil discussion. If you want to disagree with me, it's fine. But I promise you, I've got the ammunition here. I got study after study after study. For example, here's Medicare talking about diets. I don't want you to believe me, everybody. You're deluding yourself if you think any of these diets work long term. Here's Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. That was the title of the study. They said diets are not the answer. What? Medicare. Now, listen. Our Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there is little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. It's like, what? You're jumping off this call? You're back to your diet that's 2/3 are gonna weigh more than you did? Yeah, I get really passionate for all of you. It's like you've got to understand you can make a big difference. We're staring down the barrel right now. In 4 years, Johns Hopkins Medical School says 86% of you will be overweight or obese. Does that sound to you like diets are working? From 1995 to 2025, the obesity rates in the United States have doubled. Doubled. Wake up. And this podcast is going all over the world. It's not just the United States problem anymore. They now estimate 2.5 billion people worldwide are overweight, and 1 billion of the 2.5 billion are clinically obese. And you know what they said in the study? Making obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world. What? Yeah. See, you're all under this delusion that the diet you're on somehow, that the number what you lost is sustainable. Did you ever even ask yourself if the weight you're losing, what is it? Because it's not fat. You don't burn fat on a diet. You don't burn fat by exercise. You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You die with it. Okay, so now you're not losing fat. What are you losing? What's called your fat-free muscle mass. What the hell does that mean? Subtract the fat in your body, and what's left is what's called your fat-free lean muscle. But it's not just your biceps. It's all your organs. It's your brain, your kidney, your liver, your heart, even your bones. When you go on a diet, what you're doing, you're causing yourself to go into what's called catabolic metabolism. Yeah, it sounds pretty bad because it is. So what the body does to protect us, well, because you've got to understand, all your organs don't run on calories. They don't even know what a calorie is. You don't even know what a calorie is. No one's told me the definition of even a calorie. It's nuts. It's crazy what we're doing. And now we're down to 2 people. It's like insane. You're going to go back to counting calories and doing diets? You wait. That researcher was right. It's not about me being right. It's about the science proves diets do not work. Period. End of the story. Over and over and over again. So, Lisa, do you understand now what they did, what she did? And Lisa, keep in mind, she lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. And Lisa, you can go, see where it says the New Health Conversation, you can go there, excuse me, and see all the medical proof. And then if you like, because we're not going to contact anybody if they go there. But if they like, they can scroll down, they get a free coach. Why wouldn't any of you go and check out the free medical proof? It's not an opinion. Are you men and women, are you really serious about losing weight and improving your health? Or what do you think, there's some easy fix? Oh, let's not eat for 16 hours and eat for 8. Like, that doesn't work. That's nonsense. It's a diet. It's lowering calories. That's not my opinion. I mean, I've got big medical proof over here from the Journal of the American Medical Association, Annals of Internal Medicine. They did studies on this time-restricted eating, which is a big buzz now, where you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat for 8. What are the real results? Here's the first one, the Journal of the American Medical Association. This was a 3-month study. They said our researchers found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily over 3 months gained almost no benefit from it. Over the course of 3 months, they lost 2 to 3.5 pounds, and the weight they lost was lean muscle mass. It's just nonsense. Nonsense. You're seeing something with no medical background behind it. And this other study that was done in the Annals of Internal Medicine, again, 12 weeks, time-restricted eating versus just lowering calories. After 12 weeks, the weight loss on time-restricted eating was 4.6 pounds in 3 months. Those that lowered calories was 5.2 pounds, and they went on to say the conclusion. In any suggestion that time-restricted eating weight loss is due to anything other than reducing calories is totally false. But that's what you're doing. I see they've got 1 million followers telling you to do time-restricted eating without one shred. And who's the person? What's their credentials? This was invented by the top, and there's no products to buy here. The people that invented this, it's no products. They don't make any money on it. They're scientists. I know it sounds too good to be true, but aren't you all excited about the possibility of changing your lives? Yes or no? And right there, the New Health Conversation, you can all go there for free and see the medical proof, or not. Again, who would like to ask me a question? I mean, look at my friend's daughter. 60 pounds in 3 months, everybody. 60 pounds in 3 months. It's not a diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories. It has nothing to do with exercise. And not that they're against exercise, but they limited exercise because they didn't want that to be an outlier. Otherwise, you'd say, oh, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. I don't understand why people don't want to accept the belief about science. That's all we have. You would never take a prescription drug that didn't go through what's called a peer-reviewed human trial study. Thank goodness, those are the safeguards. This protocol was done with peer-reviewed human trial studies and published in the biggest medical journals in the world. Now, just because you may have a problem with disbelief or skepticism, the medical facts are there for you to see for free. Then you get a free coach. And there's no products. You're going to buy food and you're going to eat a completely new way of eating. But you all know, am I wrong? How much do you typically shoot to lose on a diet? Maybe 1 pound a week, maybe? Well, they're averaging 5 pounds a week or more. My God, Curtis, who's 65 years old, lost 40 pounds in a month. That's 10 pounds a week. Now, you can think it's Photoshopped, and we're lying to you, and if you do, you're on the wrong podcast. I can't help people that are unwilling to help themselves. And coming on and making an opinion and being skeptical, that's all cool, but what eliminates your skepticism, it's published in the 10 biggest medical journals in the world, proving it's safe, it works. What are you going to do? Let's say you got 20 pounds to lose. How long is it going to take you to lose 20 pounds, any of you? And we're stuck at 546 likes. Can we get some more taps on that screen? So who else would like to ask me a question? So Lisa, I don't know if you're still on, if that all made sense to you and you understand, you can go to that website. It's right there. Finally, medical science proves a new safe way to lose 20 pounds in a month. It's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, and you'll get free coaching all the way to your goals, see the free medical proof at the New Health Conversation, and there's no products to buy. You buy nothing from the coaches. You buy nothing from us. Well, we're the coaches, I guess, yeah. And the researchers who put this together, they don't have any products, they don't have a company. You're buying food from your grocery store, you get a grocery list of what to buy and what the serving sizes are. And the other 70%, you're buying foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand that aren't available at your grocery store. Well, I guess if you lived in New Zealand, probably you could get some, but the other elements come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, and New Zealand. And they make up huge amounts of nutrition, but in smaller quantities of what you would call food. I don't understand why more people aren't curious about how did she do that? How did she lose 20 pounds in a month? Would anybody like to ask me a question? Hello, Candace Spalding 5. Hello, Cresto. Hello, Soul Lucia. I think it's Soul Lucia. Hello. Who else would like to put something in the chat? Does anybody want a question? How did she lose 20 pounds in a month safely? Now, if you're just coming on, if you think it's fake, then you're on the wrong podcast. This is totally real. She's not the only one. But look at this, everyone. How excited would you be of the new people coming on here if you could lose 20 pounds in a month safely and keep it off for the rest of your life? Look, medical science proves a new safe way to lose 20 pounds a month, backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. You'll get free coaching all the way to your goals and free medical proof at the New Health Conversation. And there's nothing to buy from the coaches or us. You're buying directly from your supermarket, about 30% of what you're going to consume, not recipes. Food, serving sizes of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But the other 70% of the food you're going to buy, you can't buy at your grocery store. It comes from places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that these other researchers found these foods and you buy directly from them. We're coaches. We coach you. We're scientists. We're researchers. We got coached. And we feel like it's our obligation to teach other people how to do this, because 50% of this is how you're going to consume, when you're going to consume, how much you're going to consume, but in what sequence. It matters. Because 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day, and 2 days a week, you're going to have 8 meals a day. Now, I know that's going to spin you all out of control. This is not a diet. It has nothing to do with dieting. She lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9%. How do I get to the link? Candace, do you see right above her head proof at the New Health Conversation? Do you see that, Candace? Give me a yes if you see it. That's the link. Or Candace, let me illustrate. Look, the website view. Go to Google and type in the new, see right there, Candace, the New Health Conversation in Google. Watch. It'll go to the link. There's the link. You click on the link, and there's the website. And Candace, there's nothing to buy there except the medical proof, including number 1, an exclusive podcast with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. The medical studies are there. Remember, I'm referencing, this is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. These are all peer-reviewed human studies, not on mice or rats, because you can't, those don't get published in the biggest medical journals. So that's a scientific paper. That's not the same as this. So, but look at this. How excited would you be, Candace or Soul, if you could lose 21 pounds in a month? I have no idea how much weight you want to lose, because we have people, Candace and Soul, we have kids as young as 2 doing this, not to lose weight, because it's not a weight loss program. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have people with heart transplant, kidney transplants, people with no gallbladders, and we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any medical diseases. All we're doing is sharing with you what is now proven, medically established in the biggest medical journals in the world. This makes every diet obsolete. I'd love to ask you if you're willing to answer, Candace or Soul, if you were going, and I have no idea how much weight you want to, we have people who want to gain weight, by the way, but let's say you want to lose weight. Let's use the number, let's say take 20 pounds. If you're not on this podcast, pick any diet you want. How long would you give yourself, Candace or Soul, to lose 20 pounds? I love people's comments, because that's what the norm is. That's what people think. Because on a diet, by counting calories, that's as good as you're going to do. So if you don't mind, just put in the chat, how long would you give yourselves? I've lost 90 so far, and I'm stuck between 160 and... Yeah, you lost 90 pounds in I lost 90 so far. And how many? 6 months. Well, look at this. How about that? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? And she's kept, that's all she needed to lose, by the way. but she's kept it off now for 8 years. Look at this. You talk about weight loss. Look at this, Candace. That's a year, 200 pounds. Look, no loose skin. Candace, look at that. What do you think? Tell me what you think of that picture. She was happy before. It's not fake, it's real, and it's not a diet, it's a detox. This is, because here's what we're dealing with, Candace and everybody else. We're breathing and drinking, eating chemicals, whether you know it or not. And what our body's doing, and that's why people complain to me all the time, not just how much weight they have, but how much fat. Notice she has no loose skin. Look at that. Or if you look at someone like Julie here, look at that, 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at that. Now, this gentleman here, he's 65 years old. Candace, he lost 40 pounds and 52 inches in a month, in 30 days. But look at his blood work, 8.4 to 6.4. His A1C, his triglycerides, 242 to 124 in a month. This is real. And the reason I can say that is, it's the only in the world protocol that's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. It's safe, it works, and it's real. And there's no products to buy. We don't sell you anything. There's no products. You're buying food. Aha! But very specific new approach where they wanted to say, we're going to give you less food, but we're going to pick out the foods for you that have higher levels of nutrition. Not a recipe. That's nonsense. It has to do with nutritional density. Only 30% Candace or Soul that you would consume on this. You get a grocery list you'd buy from your grocery store, organic, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. No calorie counting. No calorie counting. See, Candace, what's happened to you is you have lost 25 to 40% of your lean muscle mass, and your brain has slowed your metabolism down to the point, that's why you're stuck. And I hate to tell you, but 2/3 of everybody on every diet ever studied gained more weight than they lost. Because as you lose lean muscle mass, it's not something you come off the diet and you rebuild your lean muscle. It takes you about a year per pound to gain it back. So congratulations, you've lost, let's see, I've lost 90. I'm going to tell you right now that 30 up to 36 pounds you've lost is lean muscle mass. Sorry to tell you that. It's not an opinion on my part. All the science says that. That's why you're stuck. I don't care what you do, cut your calories, do whatever you want to do. Because here's the other problem, Candace. What diet are you on, if you don't mind sharing with me? Because again, I'm sure, I don't even have to ask, it's going to be some form of limiting, counting calories, or lowering carbs, or whatever it is. What diet are you following? Keto. Okay, let's talk about keto. One of the biggest scams on the planet is keto. I'm going to read to you from Nutrients, a huge study on keto, low carb diets. Listen to this. Low carb diets are now associated with large loss of lean muscle mass and an increased osteoporosis risk in obese individuals. So Candace, what you've done, you've now increased your risk of osteoporosis. And like they said right here, 25 to 40% of what you have lost so far is lean muscle mass. Don't get mad at me, I'm just a scientist. I think it's wonderful what you did, but unfortunately the number on the scale is very misleading. Keto diet is nonsense, and here's why. You need fats, carbs, and proteins. But they have to be the right kind of carbohydrates. So here's a major medical journal saying that it increases your risk of osteoporosis. Is that crazy, Candace? Do you understand now why? Here's the point, Candace. There's no diet out there that works. I'm going to prove it to you again. Here's Tracy Mann. Candace, you can look it up. Traci, Mann, M-A-N-N. She's one of the top weight loss researchers in the world at the University of UCLA and University of Minnesota. Let me read a recent analysis of diets by her and her colleagues, okay? A landmark meta-analysis by Tracy Mann and colleagues published in the American Psychologist reviewed 31 long-term studies on calorie-restricted diets and exposed the harsh truth. What's the harsh truth? The analysis concluded that dieting itself predicts future weight gain. So Candace, they're saying that 2/3 of people are going to weigh more than they lost because it's just crazy. Your body needs fuel. It needs fats, it needs proteins, and it needs carbohydrates. So a keto diet where you're limiting, so you're in a deficit. What does your brain do? We don't have enough fuel. So what does it do? It shuts down the access to your fuel in your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. It's exactly where you are right now. You're stuck. It's such a tragedy. You've done a great job. If that weight were the right kind of weight to be lost, you could, all the pictures I'm showing you, they've kept it off for 8 or 9 years. Candace, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. Am I making sense, Candace? Yeah, I mean, I don't make up things. Right, Candace. So Candace, let me ask you, are you curious? Do you want to go, look, Candace, it's all, the medical website is right there for you to see, the New Health Conversation. We won't contact you, Candace, if you go there. No, we don't need to harass you. We don't need to convince you. Go look at the medical proof, and if you like what you see, scroll down. There's the website. I showed it to you before. There's nothing to buy there, just the medical proof, including number one, an interview with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He'll tell you they'll never recommend keto, paleo, any of these diets ever again to any patient. They analyzed them all for 40 years. None of them ever worked long term. Isn't that amazing, Candace? You're checking out the website. And keep in mind, Candace, if you go there, we're not going to contact you. So don't think you went to the website and you're getting a call from us. No. The only way we can contact you is if you contact us. But take the time for your own benefit, specifically to watch that podcast. He's the number one weight loss person in the world. Would you want to listen? I don't want you to believe me, Candace. I'm serious. Any of you. You don't have to believe me. Can you believe you're lying? If that's real, why wouldn't you go check out the medical proof behind it? And you can see the medical journals are there for you to look at. One of the studies that came out about 8 months ago was published in Nature Communications. So for Candace and everybody, it's the number one medical journal in the world. Had nothing to do with the weight loss, Candace. Guess what it was? Here's the title. Gut microbiome remodeling and metabolic profile improved drastically in response to protein pacing and intermittent nutritional fasting. This has nothing to do with the weight loss. It's a health. This is a health system. The weight loss is a throw-in. We always tell you, look, the last thing we care about is the number on the scale, because that's going to happen anyway. I mean, look at across the board, these people. Look at Andy, 45 pounds in 60 days. But look at his blood work, A1C from 7.9 to 6.2, LDL, bad cholesterol, 120 to 59. Great, Candace. Thank you for being here. So who else would like to ask me a question? Look, all of you, you think we're making this up? You think that's fake? If you do, you're on the wrong podcast. But look at Julie, everybody, 35 pounds. Look at her body. Look at the composition of her body, how it changed. If you think we're lying, you're on the wrong podcast. You are. Then go follow those influencers that are just giving you opinions. They don't have any medical facts behind what they're saying. With all due respect, I see medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and fitness and health coaches and weight loss coaches. Where's their proof? They don't have any. This is the only protocol. I didn't invent it. I have nothing. I mean, we're reporting on the protocol that was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. Heck, they've worked with Navy SEALs and Green Berets and Olympians and CrossFit people and triathletes, and they didn't let anybody exercise here because, otherwise you'd say, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. They weren't allowed to exercise. Is that making sense to everyone? Again, anybody put it in the comment. Hello, Chris Tyne. Hello, Shipperessa. I'm sure I mispronounced your name. I apologize. That's great. Okay. Candace, I thought you were going to the website. You couldn't get enough of me yet? No, I'm kidding to everybody. So again, who would like to ask me a question? I'm going to end this in about another 5 minutes. I've already been an hour and 4 minutes, and we're stuck only 546 likes. So would anybody like me to do one more walkthrough of exactly how in the world? See, this is the average weight loss, everybody, about 5 pounds a week. And if you look at April, she proves that 60 pounds in 3 months, do the math, that's 5 pounds a week. So it's not just initially like the flash in the pan, it's sustainable. Also, look at her face and arms. Now you can think it's photoshopped or it's a different woman. It's not. This is a daughter of a friend of mine. I'm not photoshopping her pictures and posting it. And she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. It's not a diet. This is not a diet, everybody. So who else would like to ask me a question? Would you like me to explain how they're doing this? But for all of you, there's a free website right there, the New Health Conversation. You can all go there and see the medical proof and an explanation of how they did it. And if you like what you see, we won't contact you if you go there. The only way we'll contact you is if you contact us, and you can sign up for a free coach. Post-cancer girl. You want me to explain? I will be happy to do that. So, just promise me one thing, post-cancer girl, anybody's going to listen. Give me about 4 minutes. Wait till the end before you make a judgment, okay? This has never been done before. These researchers who created this are the top rated. They're rated, not by me, because I didn't invent this. They're rated as the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. What this is a health system. The weight loss is really one of the least important parts of it. So what did they do? These researchers that created this had done 100 studies on human beings, what are called peer-reviewed human trial studies, over 40 years. Thousands of people. They finally, after 40 years, came to one glaring observation. No diet ever worked long-term. None. Zero. They never found one. And 2/3 of people gained more weight than they lost. Now, what was causing that? It was causing the fact that all diets are based, well, first of all, the human body has no idea what a calorie even is. It doesn't count calories. So by you counting calories, you're wasting your time. So what they said, you're alive because of 3 things. Air, water, not calories, nutrition. And when you go on a diet, what you're actually doing, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. I don't care what the diet is, right? Or like something like keto diet, you're limiting or almost eliminating carbohydrates. Still a deficit. Your body needs fats, carbs, and proteins, period, end of the story. But they need to be the right kind. That's what the researchers figured out. They said, okay, we're gonna go find food. Hi, Cindy Savino, I'm saying hello to you too. Hello. So what the researchers did, they said, we know there are foods where we can give you less food by quantity, but give you more nutrition. That's the simple principle behind it. Now, what foods did they pick out? So, 30% of the food, post-cancer girl or anybody else that you would buy, you'd get a grocery list. And stop me if I go too fast, sometimes I do. That grocery list was developed by the researchers, based not on how much food you were going to eat, but how much nutrition you were going to get. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But listen to me carefully, only 30% of what you would buy on this, you buy from your grocery store. There are no products to buy. So this is not some magic elixir or a pill or a shot, no, nothing to do with that. And those foods are proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, not based on calories. No more calorie counting. Done, okay? So 30% of what you would consume, you'd get from your grocery store. Well, and that also means 30% of the money you spent last month, you'd spend at the grocery store this month to do this protocol. 70% of what you spend and buy doesn't come from your grocery store. As a matter of fact, it doesn't come probably from whatever continent you're on. It comes from these other researchers who spent 20 years going around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrients, including from these what are called blue zones where people are living to be 100 years old. I certainly want to put some of that in my body every day, don't you? So now they had the food groups. Again, let me say for the 3rd time, there are no products here. It's 30% of the food from your grocery store and 70% of the food from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Then, based on that, they created a new way of eating, I didn't mispronounce, called protein pacing. It was so advanced that the U.S. Patent Office granted them a trademark, protein pacing, for this new way of eating. So they took a week, or they broke it into weeks. 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. Yeah, 4 meals a day. Starting with these exotic foods around the world, that was breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. Got it? That's called protein pacing, 5 out of 7 days. Until you lose the weight, you're going to have 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store. Now this will blow your mind. You're only going to have these nutrients from these sources around the world. This time you're going to eat 8 times a day. You're going to eat every hour and a half to 2 hours. The diabetics on this, no one had insulin spikes. Now, in 30 days, now here's what makes it different. This is why you all should be concerned and excited about this. Do you all believe we're living in a toxic world? Because we are. We're breathing, we're drinking, we're eating chemicals. And as they enter the body takes the chemical and stuffs it inside your visceral fat. They're called lipophilic, meaning the toxins love fat cells. That's why you all complain not just about how much weight you've gained, but how much fat you have in the body. Is that making sense to all of you? So what these researchers did, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved this was removing chemicals from the body. Because keep in mind, she was not allowed to exercise. She actually wore Fitbits to prove, along with everybody else. And now they weren't against exercise, but they did, because otherwise you'd say, well, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. It was this protocol. So the first reason to do this is detoxification. And if you want to improve your health and stimulate your immune system, for example, you want to absolutely be able to detox your body. There is no other diet. There is no other protocol that's medically proven to remove chemicals from the body. You hear this nonsense on TV, you can buy a detox. There's no science behind it. Be very cautious when someone says there's a scientifically proven ingredient. But when you look at a lot of these supplements that you're seeing advertised on social media, the amount of that nutrient in there is minuscule. You need about 1,000 of their capsules to have any benefit. So it's total fraud, okay? This is backed up, proven, and then to get published in these magazines and these medical journals, they get scrutinized by the top medical doctors and researchers in the world who have one job to disprove what you're claiming. So they have the proof this is detox. What's the second thing they measured? Well, they proved for the first time ever inflammation, which is, according to the medical world, is the underlying cause of every disease out there, from cancer to diabetes to high blood pressure, you name it. It came down 25% in a month. Now, we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical claims or preventing any disease. Don't hear me say that. All I'm saying is, if you can make your body more efficient by lowering chemicals stored in your body, which in turn, they lowered inflammation, hunger came down 41% in a month. The diabetics on this, and I'll show you some in a moment, their need for insulin, which is what a diabetic measured, it came down 40% in a month. The second reason to do this, the third reason, sorry, is maintenance. She lost that weight 8 or 9 years ago. She's kept it off. All these people have kept it off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. This is not a diet. It's a lifestyle. It's a health system. But you're never going to do it even if you think, well, I'm eating whole foods. No, the food in North America, I'll give you an example. Spinach, Cornell University, 1957 to 2020. They estimate the iron levels in spinach, the iron levels have decreased by 4,300%, meaning a bowl of spinach in 1957, in 2020, you need about 20 bowls of spinach. And you wonder why you're never hungry, you wonder why you stall out on these diets, because what you're doing on a diet is you're reducing the quantity of food you have, but the food, even if you're doing organic, let's say in North America, it's still nutritionally, I'll be kind, insufficient. The researchers had done 40 years of research with with organic foods. And every time the people lost weight initially and they all gained it back and more because they were in a deficit. Not a deficit of calories, that has nothing to do with it. Even Harvard Medical School, well, here's another big study, the science behind why diets don't work. Listen to this, everybody. Our researchers, despite the fact that ads say otherwise, it's very rare for people to lose weight and keep it off for good. Not only that, 2/3 of people who diet regain more weight than they originally lost, ending up at a higher weight than where they started. That's what's going on to all of you. We're not arguing you're going to lose weight initially. Number one, it's the most unhealthy weight you could ever lose. Here's why. Want to know? When you lose lean muscle, 2 of the worst things that could ever happen to you happen. 1, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau. But worse than that, it also impacts your own immune system. Now, I can address this. My younger brother, in 2011, was diagnosed with kidney cancer before I knew any of this. My brother was 6'4", and when my brother passed away, he weighed 115 pounds. Now I understand that as you lose lean muscle, it absolutely compromises your own immune system. So you're making yourself, basically by going on a diet, you're making yourself unhealthy, unless you think lowering your immune system response is a good strategy. I'm not making this up, everybody. This is the medical proof, for crying out loud. That's why this is so significant. On this, with no exercise, okay? With no exercise, they were able to increase lean muscle 6 to 9%. Let me repeat that. She was not allowed to exercise. She lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. So, post-cancer girl, does this make sense to you? And obviously, it's something that I'm just speculating from your title that obviously preventative intervention by being able to maintain or boost your immune system would certainly be something that would be of great value to all of us. All I know is I saw what happened to my brother, and it's really sad. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't mean we're not preventing, curing, treating, preventing any medical, diagnosing medical conditions. All we're saying is if you can get chemicals out of your body and you can increase your lean muscle mass, does anybody think that's a bad idea? That's how nuts this whole thing is. That's how crazy all of these influencers, and I'm not going to disparage them, but ask yourself a question, post-cancer girl or anybody. If what they were telling you to do was real, why don't they have peer-reviewed human trial studies? I'll tell you why. Because with a peer-reviewed human trial study, in case you all don't know, it's not like you publish the study and then they put it in the First, you have to go through a government scrutiny to determine, are you qualified to even do a clinical study? Okay, that's number one. Number two, you then submit your study, like, okay, how many people, are you doing blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, liver enzymes, etc. Okay, once you pass the second hurdle, then you do the study. Not me, but the researchers, right? Once you've completed the study, then you submit it to somebody like, in this case, the Obesity Journal, which, in case you can tell by the title, is the number one recognized journal for people that are obese, right? And what they do, the journal, if they do decide to publish it after all this and years, this takes years and tons of money, they then send it out to other world-class medical doctors and researchers who have one job. You know what their job is? To discredit what you're proving. So so these companies, if they submit it to peer-reviewed human trial studies, the claims they're making, they can't back up. It's called unsubstantiated claims, which again, thank God we have the FDA to make sure that that doesn't, that's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. I know what you're gonna say, they make mistakes, but we gotta have some level of safeguard. What, do you want the drug companies to do their own studies and come out with the drugs? I don't think so. But that's basically what you're doing when you're listening to these influencers that are giving you opinions. They don't have any facts. They have no facts. They have opinions. I see medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and weight loss coaches and fitness coaches and workout people. They don't have one shred of medical evidence. Do you know right now it's a tragedy? They're talking about the people that were on The Biggest Loser, one of the greatest travesties ever, that all those people have gained all their weight back, and no matter what they do, they can't lose weight because they've ruined their metabolism. Just a big article came out yesterday about it. You're going on diets to absolutely undermine your long-term health. You are. You don't have to believe me. Do you believe science? The website, you can go see the medical proof from the top weight loss researcher in the world saying they'll never, ever recommend to any of their patients a traditional diet ever again. Hell, they did 40 years, 100 studies, never found a diet that worked. Does that make sense to all of you? So, do all of you understand why now you should at least take a little bit of time and go to the New Health Conversation and see the medical proof, and if you like what you see, get a coach, or not? I'll tell you one thing, if you go there, we're not going to contact you. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not like, hey, yes it does, I've been there. Yeah, I'm sure you have. And I'm just speculating based on your handle. I don't know you, et cetera. But what I would invite you to do post-cancer is, I assume you would be very curious to go to the website and hear what he has to say. And he'll tell you it's not really a diet. The weight loss is the least important part of the whole thing. It really is to maximize your health capability, what we call your quality of life or your health potential. But I think it would make sense to everybody that if you can remove chemicals from your body and give yourself massive amounts of nutrition and get your weight where it should be, you're probably going to function better. I mean, I'm a researcher. That doesn't take much research to kind of figure that one out. No diet has ever produced what we're showing you right here. Let me go real quickly through some of the other people. Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. And then April, my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. That's not photoshopped. Or Curtis, 65 years old, 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. Now, some of you may be asking, well, I'm in shape. Really? You're still toxic. I'm going to show you what happens when you do exercise. The next picture I'm going to show you is a young man, 43 years old, lives in Costa Rica, is a surfer, works out 7 days a week. Didn't do this to lose weight. I'm going to show you what happened in just 11 days. It's not photoshopped, okay? Watch this, everyone. Look at day 1, actually pretty darn good shape. Then the next is day 5, but that's the morning of day 5. So that's 4 days in. Look at the structure in the abdomen, etc. And then look at the morning of day 12, 11 days in. Look at that transformation. You think this is a diet? That's the lean muscle mass. That's the shrinkage of the visceral fat and the increase in the lean muscle mass. Now, granted, he works out, but he was working out before. On day 1, it was never worked out, and he's surfing 2 or 3 times a day. Now, I had fitness trainers tell me that's Photoshop. That's the lighting. Not really, because I kind of know that person that you're looking at right there. That person is my youngest son. He did not do this to lose weight. But the point is, I'm not saying you're surfing twice a day and want to work out 7 days a week. I'm just saying if you do, I'll show you another picture of someone. You talk about working out. Look at this gentleman, Brian, 50 pounds in 4 months. But that's really not true because he gained lean muscle. So the 50 pounds net was really probably more like 70 pounds. But look at the change in his body composition in 4 months. Now, granted, he's working out. I mean, this is crazy in a good way, right? So I would encourage all of you. Why wouldn't you go to the website, The New Health Conversation, and check it out for free? We're not going to contact you. Is your skepticism so high that you don't deserve to see the solution that the world is searching for with 2.5 billion people worldwide overweight and 1 billion of those clinically obese? The United States in 4 years, they're estimating, Johns Hopkins Medical School, 86% of you will be overweight or obese. Keep doing those keto and paleo and Mediterranean and time-restricted eating and Cornish and zone and carnivore, whatever. They don't work long term. They don't work. That's all I can tell you. So, yep, didn't want to leave you too early. No, it's okay, post-cancer girl. Now, also make sure, if you do decide you want to coach, put whatever, if you're, post-treatment, I'm hoping you are, and, because we'll want to make sure that we get you in line with someone that can give you, because we have medical doctors, we've got RNs, we've got PAs, we got, we got all kinds of people. So we like to know if you have a certain condition. Look, post-cancer, we got kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids, a man with a heart transplant, kidney transplant, no gallbladders, and we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any medical diseases. But I think you get it. If you can detox your body, increase your lean muscle mass, that's a really good thing to move forward in your life. I hope you agree with me. You don't have to, but that's it. So I'm going to end this now because I've got to go. I've got an appointment. Let's see, 11:30, 12. So I'll probably come on and do another live podcast around 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So that's 11:30 Central, 10:30 Mountain, and 9:30 Pacific. And I try to do between 3 and 5 of these a day, depending on how long they go. This one's already 1 hour and 23 minutes. Because, there's a lot of people that want to know about this. So in closing, I want to encourage all of you, you see right above our head in blue, everybody, The New Health Conversation. That's the website. And what's there? Only medical proof. If you go there, we won't contact you. You don't need to be harassed. If we have to convince you have to go to that website, then this probably isn't for you. We don't have time to convince you or sell you. We'll answer all your questions. But the medical proof that's there is what's called irrefutable medical proof. It's already been scrutinized by the top medical doctors and researchers in the world. The top people, not somebody giving me an opinion on social media. And I get a lot of opinions and I get called a lot of names because I'm shaking the trees. People don't like hearing that the diet they're on is going to, 2/3 you're going to weigh more than what you did when you started. So, okay. By the way, post-cancer girl, this was invented by a diabetic. Let me show you the diabetic. Look at this. Look at his A1C. Post-cancer girl, comment about that. Look at his A1C, 8.4 to 6.4. Look at those triglycerides, 242 to 124 in 30 days. He's on glucophage, metformin, etc. At the end of 30 days, his doctor said to cut his meds by 50%. I'm not sure, are you type 1 or type 2? By the way, this was invented 25 years ago by a diabetic nutritional chemist. It was invented for diabetics. Now it's evolved over the last 25 years into what it is today. But diabetic, I'll show you another diabetic. Here's Andy. His A1C from 7.9 to 6.2, but look, he lost 45 pounds in a month. Look at his bad cholesterol, 120 to 59. That's why post-cancer, I keep saying this is not a weight loss product, it's a health system. If you're interested in not good or better or best health, but extraordinary health, then this is the program for you. Post-cancer, is that amazing? Is that just crazy good? And then we've got Christopher here. Look, his A1C was actually really good, 5.3 to 4.9, but look at his triglycerides, 169 to 58, and look at his bad cholesterol, 105 to 68, and obviously his blood pressure went down dramatically. This is not a diet, everybody. This is a health way of life that you can do. It's easy to do it. You can maintain it. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So one last time, you can all, if you want, the website is right there in blue above our head, the new health conversation. You can go there, you can see the medical proof, and you decide. If you like what you see, you scroll down, you get a free coach. It's not a gimmick. The coaching's, I'll show you what we started with. Backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trials, you'll get free coaching all the way to your goals. And you get to see the medical proof at the new health conversation, and she lost 20 pounds in a month. That's typical. 5 pounds a week. There's nothing special about that. When we've got people like Curtis who lost 10 pounds a week at 65 years of age with no exercise. I know it's too good to be true for most of you. So anyway, I've got to leave right now, and like I said, I'll come back on around 12:30 Eastern Standard Time today. Okay, everybody? And Post-Cancer Girl, I hope you will go there, and we'd love to be able to, I don't know if the word inspire would be right, but let's say make you aware of what's possible, okay? Thanks, everybody. We'll maybe see some of you. Tell your friends, because the website's free to go to for everybody, okay? The new health conversation.